Hello everybody, Mr. Pilgrim here, coming at you with the third video in our Platinum Trophy Guide for Liza P. In the last video, we'd gone through Vanini Works, rescued Vanini and his butler, and gotten a couple more emotes and trophies along the way. Now, at the end of the last video, I recommended upgrading your Salamander Dagger to +3. Now, if you've been fully exploring everything and grabbing all of the upgrade materials along the way, I also recommend upgrading your Electric Coil Stick to +3, because it will also help out along the way. So now from here, we're basically just going to go back to the center of Vanini Works. Alright, like always from this Stargazer, I'm going to show you where to go and what to grab in the next area, and where to find your next Stargazer. Now, this next area doesn't really have much. It is a bunch of puppets, so you won't need to switch to your Salamander Dagger just yet, but you will eventually, so don't worry. This next area is quite small, so don't fret too much about going through it. There is another tough enemy that does drop a amulet. Tough is kind of loose, at least from my experience now playing the game. But coming down here into this little mine shaft, you can just follow this path around up top. And coming up this ladder, you'll find your next weapon. I have nicknamed it Big Jim. And it is the Big Pipe Wrench. So now we can head back down. And just over here is the exit. As you'll see, we have another one of these guys. Best thing I like to do is just simply walk backwards. Get 3 strong heavy attacks in. Like I said, whenever he starts running at you, simply just run to the side. And just like that, he goes down, and you get the Carrier's Amulet. This will allow you to have a higher equip load, so in case you're struggling with your current equipment or weapons or something, you can equip that, and now you'll be able to wear more. And here you'll have your next Stargazer. So now I'm going to show you guys how to get through the next couple of areas. From here, you're just going to follow this pretty straightforward path. Now, if you want to, you can risk jumping across a bridge. If not, you could come inside this building here on the left. And then following this path around, you can just simply drop down here, and then follow this around. Now, up this ladder. Coming up here through this little entrance, inside this building on the left is kind of an ambush waiting for you with at least 5 or so puppets, but inside you'll find a chest, and you'll get the Workshop Standard Union Converter. This will basically give you more physical defense but less fire resistance. But now we can continue on. Now up ahead we have our next lie that we're going to tell using the emotes that we got from the survivor in Vanini Works.
Do you want to go up, John? The cathedral. Are you?
When she asks if we are a stalker, simply give her the stalker's greeting, which we are not. Simply just because we got it from the survivor, and this will allow us to ride the railway. Now I'm going to skip this whole ride just because it takes a bit of time, so yeah. Alright, once at the top,
something's off. Do you see that over there?
you'll find your next Stargazer, and from here on is when you want to switch to that Salamander Dagger. Now, the reason why I say that is because all of the enemies from here on are basically weak to fire damage and will be a heavy part of the next area. So, like always, I'm going to show you guys where to go and what to grab. Alright, from here, it's a pretty straightforward path to the cathedral. Like I said, all of the enemies in this area and the next area are going to be weak to fire. So any fire weapons that you can use, even such as using your little grindstone to temporarily give you fire damage on any non-elemental weapons, is also a plus. So if you don't want to use the salamander dagger, you can use whatever you want. You don't have to use what enemies are weak to if you're more comfortable with something. Now coming up in here we have a small church. Now just on the other side is a opening that you can follow. And here we'll find our next NPC. He's a pretty reliable character that we might need in the future, so getting him now is going to be helpful. This is Giangio. As of right now, it's not important, but he becomes more important later on, and he gives us the cube and wish stones. Basically, these are more items that you can use when in boss fights. Basically, main boss fights. But just behind him, you'll find the Belford Break cartridge, which is a little bit less than what we currently have. Now, we will find him at the cathedral eventually if we end up dying. But from here, we can now head back and through the main door right here. Now, when you first open this door, there's going to be some puppets and these corpses fighting each other. And then you'll have this big guy who I purposely left alive for you guys to see. Best thing to do is wait, go for some charged attacks, if you can. And just like that, he goes down without any issues. Now, for the most part, for some of the enemies, you can, instead of dodging, just simply run, as it gives you more distance than a dodge would, and is less likely to get you hit by anything. So now we can come up here and enter the cathedral. Now, this next area is going to be a little bit longer than normal, so it's going to have more to show for you guys. Hooray! Now, as always, I'm going to show you guys where to go, what to do, and where to grab along the way. So starting off here, you'll have a brief glimpse of the boss when heading into this room, and then you can come down and off to the right. You'll have this long ladder to descend. You'll then have this kind of pool of decay, which is always fun. Coming across here and up this ladder, you'll have a new enemy type up here. As you'll see right here, they like to throw pus of decay at you. You can easily dodge it, get close, and then hit them a couple of times. They might try and swing at you, which is fairly telegraphed and easy to dodge. Coming up here, you'll then want to turn around and walk across these beams. Do be careful of getting knocked off, of course. Then following this around, you'll have your next beam. Like I said, don't want to get knocked off, as from certain heights it is instant death. Coming down here, you have your next ladder. Then from here, you want to wait and then start running as there's these giant electric balls. As long as your weight and capacity is light enough, you should be fine. Coming into here, you'll have another one of those enemies that likes to throw things at you, burst through the door. Following this up and around, you'll now be up top. Now from here, you're going to want to push this brazier, and this will get rid of all of that decay down below. And we'll reveal a hidden cellar. Now, first things first, what you want to do is come over here and activate this switch. And this will allow the elevator right here to bring you up as a shortcut. But before we do that and continue on, if you come back here and ride this little wooden wheel, I'm forgetting the name of it, or I guess wooden crank is the best term, you'll see that there's this plank that you can roll onto, and just inside you'll find a new weapon. The blind man's double-sided spear. Now from here you have a couple of options, but you're basically just going to want to head back down. You will kind of take some fall damage, but that's okay. So just casually drop down, and then to try and save on HP, what you can do is you can kind of run and jump over here, and then land on the stairs. This will reduce the amount of damage taken. Now, as you'll see, we can now use this elevator to our advantage, but we're not quite done. If you're looking behind you when you ride this elevator up, you'll see this little alcove right here. And inside is another chest for you to loot. And this will give you a Legion plug. This will allow you to craft a new Legion arm that you don't already have. Now we can get back on the elevator and take it up. Now from here, we can enter this door. And about right here, you're going to want to buff your weapon if you can. Immediately run to right here. Give him a couple of hits. Whenever he gets his weapon out, as you'll see, he does quite a lot of damage. Like I said, best thing to do is simply just run away. Almost done. And just like that, he goes down and will give you some quartz. Now this door will open up, and just inside here on the left is a chest containing a Krat supply box. This you can give to Paul and Dina. He will then now sell an infinite amount of the hidden moonstones. So if you have a weapon that you really like, or you simply just like to level up all of your weapons whenever you can now level up all of your base weapons that don't require any special materials to +3 to your heart's content. Now we can take this elevator down. And be at our next Stargazer. Now, before we continue on, if you come off here to the left, you'll find Cecily, and she'll have a favor to ask of us. Don't worry, we will be doing her quest while we are here, but like always, we're going to rest and reset, and I'll show you guys where to grab everything and what to do in this next area. Now from here, if you head through this little doorway, do be careful of a pressure pad in the middle that will set off a trap. Now first things first, coming into this room, you just want to drop down and roll to the left or to the right. Here in the middle you'll have a purple butterfly. This is the first one. As you see, it goes down quickly. it will give you an advanced crank. Then from here you will have a chest that you'll find. Which will have a Legion caliber. Then from here we can just turn around and come into this room and climb this ladder. Open the door, and while we wait we'll grab this little radiant ergo fragment. Now from here it's a pretty straightforward path. We do have a new NPC who is actually going to be a weapon vendor for us. So coming along here, coming down the stairs, you'll have this new pool of decay. In here, in this room, will be another one of those bigger, tough enemies that I showed off on the bridge. Coming in here and up this elevator is where we will find that new NPC.
Damn it! I can't find the way out. Monsters everywhere.
Now this is Alidoro. He will sell us special weapons, but first he will ask us if we know of a safe place of where to go. Now you want to lie to him and tell him Venini works.
Venini, with no I have a lot of since you're so helpful.
Now if you want to, you can also purchase boss weapons using the boss souls you have obtained along the way. Now for the sake of things, I recommend just getting all of the weapons, as you will be wanting to get those all in one playthrough just to make your life easier. Now if you want to, you can just get the amulets or whatever you think is best for you, and then go into New Game Plus. Or if you want to, just start a new save and get them all in that one. Whatever suits you best. Now we can take the elevator back down. Then from here we can head up the stairs. Come across here and we will find the Archbishop's actual room. As you'll see, there's these exploding decay sacks. And here on the ground you'll find the Archbishop's mark that Cecilia wanted us to find. And inside you will also find a safe with a workshop union strengthening frame. We're still good weight-wise, which is nice. Now coming back outside and off to the right, you'll find another brazier that you can push down to get rid of all of that pool of decay. Then from here you have a ladder and a shortcut door to open. Right here. So now we're going to head back and give the mark to Cecily.
Oh, there's a room.
She will thank us, but we're not quite done with her just yet. But for now, we are also going to go and explore that secret room that I mentioned. So from here, the best way to do that is simply just take this elevator back up, and then have your, I'm forgetting the name of it, moon phase pocket watch ready to go to just warp back to that stargazer. So if we backtrack a little bit, this is more or less my bad because I should have shown this off while we were over here. If you come back to this little elevator area, drop down all the way you can now head into this little basement area and find your first cryptic vessel of the game. You'll need to solve all 5 that you get and collect their rewards, which I will show you in these videos. As you'll see right here, this is the first one and the only thing of importance in this room. Now I'll also show you where to find and solve that after we complete the boss of this area. So now we'll just go back to the most recent Stargazer. Alright, so from here you're basically just going to come through the shortcut area we had opened, and just off to the right you'll find is the boss room. Like always, I'm going to use a Spectre just to make my life a little bit easier, and I will let the cutscene play out for you guys. So we can now take on the fallen Archbishop Andreas. As you'll see, for the most part, his attacks aren't too bad. And as you can see, he is quite weak to fire. Now in phase 2, you'll see you have 2 choices that you can pick. What I recommend doing is simply just going for his other fate right here. As you can see, it's still weak to fire. Now after a certain point, it should do a special move, or we will just defeat it fast enough. Basically, he will stand up and try and do a large area of effect attack. Afterwards, there will be a cutscene, which I might skip just to save on time, but that will be Archbishop Andreas defeated, and will get you your next trophy. From here, if you actually teleport back to the cathedral library, we will finish Cecily's quest. So if we go back to where Cecily was, we will get our next record, as you'll see right here. And if you actually read her note, you will also get to the pray gesture. So keep that in mind. Now we're going to solve that decryption device. Now, as well, you want to head back to the Workshop Union entrance at Vanini Works. Here at the entrance, if you head up as if you're going to get the Salamander Dagger here in the left room, you'll find Alidoro again. Now you basically want to tell him Elysian Boulevard. Once again, trying to lie as many times as possible. Now we can finally head back to Hotel Krat. And come over to Paul and Dina to give him the supply box. As you'll see, he now sells moonstones infinitely. He'll sell 2 Dark Moon moonstones, which is used for boss weapons, and then he'll sell a bright red apple, which we want to buy. From here, if you head off to the right down this hallway, and just back here is where you'll find Alidoro. Then he'll still forgive you and sell you boss weapons. Here you'll want to, once again, get the boss weapon. That way you don't miss out. Then from here, we're actually going to head over and talk to Vanini and have him decipher the cryptic vessel. As you'll see, he will then solve it, and you'll find a picture. Now while we're here, might as well craft a new Legion arm. I would recommend the Aegis for some of you who are having a bit of trouble, but don't worry, by the end of this you will have all of them anyways. Now another thing I should also mention is that we also want to upgrade a Legion arm. Whatever one you want to use, I recommend the puppet string as it is really good. But now we're going to head back to Elysian, and the best Stargazer to go to is actually the Krat City Hall. Alright, so from the Krat City Hall, Stargazer, if you actually head back onto the bridge where you fought the Mad Donkey, you'll see that you can now lock onto the puppet that is hanging, and then if you use a sawtoothed wheel, it will then drop a key. Now from here, I'm going to show you guys exactly where to go to find that door and to solve your first cryptic vessel. Do note there are only 5 in the game, but you need to find and solve all 5 and get their rewards to get the trophy. So from here, if you just teleport to inside the house on Elysian Boulevard, we can then find our first reward. Overall, these are pretty easy, and if you're still within a same area when teleporting between Stargazers, the loading time shouldn't take too long, as you can see. Now from here, if you just head outside, and right here you'll find 221B. Inside you'll find a safe, and this will have our first reward. This will get you some quartz and the Owl Doctor hunting apparel. Like always, anytime you have quartz, want to go and upgrade your P organ, and I will see you all in the next video. As always, this has been Mr. Pilgrim. I do hope that these videos and guides are helpful, and as always, I will see you all in the next one.